All right, welcome everyone to our class on Jira. Jira is a tool owned by Atlassian, and that's why you got an email from Atlassian. It's a tool that is used by organizations and teams to plan their work, to manage their work, and to track their work, whatever that work is, whether it's a project that you're working on, whether it's a new product that you're building, whether you're literally just addressing concerns, issues, and incidents and bugs and all of those things. So that's what Jira is. For us, there are two ways that you can access Jira. Some organizations prefer to have Jira on-prem, like on their local server. For that, anybody that is outside of their organization will not be able to access it. The other method is to have it on the cloud. Now, if you have it on the cloud, anybody on the internet with the right access will be able to get in. So what we have is the cloud-based. So that's why if you check the URL, you will see Stacy and Lloyd, which is our company name, the parent company of SixDots, Atlassian.net, because Atlassian is the company that owns, Jira, and they have just given us a space. They're just giving us a place on the web for us to host our own instance. So when you come into Jira, wherever you are, just as any website, wherever you are, you will see the top menu bar, So let's quickly look at what you see. At the far left-hand side, you see a Rubicon icon. Atlassian has Jira, they own Confluence, they own a couple of other tools. So this Rubicon shows the apps from Atlassian suite that you have. If you click on it, it drops down all your application, just like Microsoft Office. And under Microsoft Office, you have Word, you have Excel. If you have Access, you're going to see there. If you have Project, you're going to see there. If you have, PowerPoint, you're going to see there. The same thing for Atlassian suite, all the apps that you have. So you see Jira Start, you see Jira Work Management, Confluence, Trello, and all of those things. If you go on mute, it will be really cool. So that's that. Let's park that for a minute. Next, you will see your work at the menu bar. Your work. Your work has a drop down. If you click on that drop down, you will see your work assigned to you. For a lot of you that are doing this for the very first time under Stacy and Lloyd's instance, you will not see anything assigned to you. Because, you just joined. You've not done anything. Nobody has assigned any work to you, so it's going to be blank for you. For me, because I've worked with several teams, you see the work that have been assigned to me, under assigned to me. You see the status of each of these. So these ones are in progress. This is a user story. And it's under the project exclusive platform. The next one is another user story that's under H.O.P.S job and all of those things. You scroll down, you see all sorts. These ones are under PO review. These are under impediment. These are under blocked. So that's assigned to me. Still under your work, next is recent. The recent thing that I worked on. For you, if this is the first time ever, you won't see anything because it makes sense. You have not worked on anything. For like John Oseni or LP, Lalade, my sister, or Sheun, who's been part of like our Agile Immersion program, you see some things here. And then the boards that you have viewed. So that's your work. For a lot of you, it's empty, but it's going to start getting populated. After your work, the next you see projects. When you click on project, it shows you the recent projects that you have worked on or visited. Again, for some of you, recent will be empty.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, coach, but for me that you mentioned just now,
Yeah.
what I'm still seeing on my is find projects your team works on. I can see others blog bust, H.O.P.S project, Agile 2.0. So I'm beginning to wonder which one should I just keep that so that I can bring me to the same window with you?
Absolutely. Just keep that for a bit. Just keep that and come in. You get what I mean?
Oh, I see. I've seen that. Yeah. All right. Continue. Sorry for the disruption.
No worries. No worries.
Yeah.
So under project, these are the recent projects that I have worked on. Your own view is going to represent your instance. If you're new in our organization, you are not going to see anything under recent. Next, you see view all projects. Let's click on view all project for a minute. When you click on view all projects, it shows you a list of all the projects that we're currently doing, that we have done, or that we have finished. All of them. You see the project name, the project key, the type of project. The lead is the person that created the project. Either is the project manager, either is the project sponsor, either is the scrum master, either is the product owner, either is the business analyst, whoever created the project, you see their name here. You see their name here. Then you see category. Now, if you scroll down, you see some pagination here. That's to tell you that this page has 39 more. The pages are kind of arranged in alphabetical order. Let's assume that we want to search for a project and we don't want to go through this whole pagination, page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4. We can just come here, this search. Remember when I clicked on project, you saw SixDots.v2 or even event flow. All I need to do is just remember a name from the project, and then I can just search that here. So let's say SixDots. It brings you all the projects that have 6. You can see SixDots.v2, which was created by Yetunde, 6 Figures, which was created by Abdul Rashid, SixDots.site, which was created by Yetunde. I do another one, say app, for example, and you're going to see a lot of that. Say app. You see, kids after school app created by Susan, account comparison tool app created by Abigail, binge radio app created by Femi, BT app created by Bola. All of these guys are folks who have been part of either our project, our training, or our class, and they've got to create projects. So that's projects. You can search. Next, you see filters. I'm going to leave filter for a bit. And then we have dashboards. You know what a dashboard is? Something that gives you a bird's eye view, a summary view of so many things. Again, there is a default dashboard that is set by the organization at the enterprise level. Each team can customize their own dashboard. Each member of a team can create their own dashboard. So let's just explore dashboards. You see all the dashboards that we have here. For you, you probably will not see anything in Start because you've not started anything. What you will see is probably default dashboard, which is this. This is default. This is what everybody sees. This is the organization's dashboard. Until you configure your own dashboard, this is what you're going to be seeing. So you see, you are here, welcome to Stacey and Lloyd Lab. You see my work, you see project, you see on the Go feed. Now on the Go feed is a view of everything that is happening in our organization on the tool, everything. For example, May 18, a guy called Emmanuel Omoson updated this task, this story. He did this, he did this, he did. So it gives you a view of everything that's going on. Gloria.
Okay, sorry to draw you back. Just to clarify, so This dashboard is what your organization uses to view the overall projects going on Jira, or is this specific to a project?
Good question. So this right here is set by the admin, and they can put anything that they want to put in. Usually, they may not put specific projects because it's not what you're interested in. And that's why each team, each person can create their own dashboard, and we're going to do that. So you decide what you want to see on your own dashboard. For example, let's view all dashboard, for example, and just look for a team. Let's look for a team and look at their dashboard. All right, let's look at Agile Titans. Actually, Lola, my brother, created that dashboard. Let's look at it. Look at what they have in their own dashboard. It's totally different from what we saw in the default dashboard. They had their calendar. They had their sprint burn down gadgets. They had the pie chart of the work that they are doing. They had the things assigned to them, and they had, created versus resolved charts. They have their sprint health gadgets. So, Gloria, to answer your question, you can create whatever you want to see on your dashboard. The generic one will probably not address specific needs because it's what everybody sees, and they cannot put everybody's project on that dashboard. Sounds good?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Awesome. Cool stuff. So that's dashboard. We're going to come back and create our own dashboard. Next is teams. Teams. Think about it. We're working together, either as a department or a project team or a product team. This is where we can see who is who in the zoo, these teams. I click on it, you can click on it. It's going to show you your top collaborators, the people that you work with the most. For you, you're not going to see anything. That's the first thing. It will show you the teams that you belong to. It's possible that you're in an organization and you're working on 3 projects. So you see your teams. I want to search for people and teams. I want to know, who is Ishmael even in our organization? I click on search people and teams. When I click on that, it gives me all the people, all the teams, and then I can search. So you see, I work with these people. I work with Samuel, I work with Ayomide, I belong to these teams, quite a number. Now I can search for people. Gloria, I'm going to search for you. You see, is this you? Gloria Francis, is this you?
Yes, that's me.
Awesome. So this is Gloria right here. Let me search for another person. Again, I go to search people. I'm going to search for Lola. I will see Lola. You can see we have so many Lolas. Liz, Lola Akins, Lola W. So say Lola Akins. You see, Lola Akins is a project manager in the Agile Immersion Scrum department, working from Toronto. Lola belongs to Agile Titans team and Vibrant team. Lola works with all these guys. So Lola. Now let's look at Lola. We see the name. We don't see the picture. We see the department. We see the job title. We see the company. We see where Lola is located. For a lot of us who are new, you will only see your name and something like this. You probably will not see, your department, XYZ, all of those things. So the first thing that we want to do is to customize our profile. If I show you my profile, I just search and I click Bola Adesope. So this is my profile. Now, when you look at my profile, you see the cover image, you see my picture, which is like 5 years old picture. You see my name, you see the things that I worked on right here. You see the places that I work in the project. Remember, I just showed you this SixDots. You see the teams that I belong to. You see the people that I work with, Samuel, and all of those things. You see my time zone. You see where I'm located. You see the organization that I belong to. You see my department, Agile COE. You see my title, job title, Agile Coach. Let's do the same for you. And that takes me to the far right-hand side of the page. Once you get into an organization, you're going to be added just as I've added you, but they're not going to customize your page for you. In fact, I once worked in a company where if they see, the way we saw Lola and LA and no picture, they're going to like, hey, are you faceless? That kind of stuff. So let's go and customize our page. To do that, you go to the far right-hand side of the page, right here. Right here. For you, you're going to see that LA. When you put your cursor on it, it shows this is your profile and settings. Now let's make it a little better. Click on it. When you click on your profile and settings, it will show your account, your name, your email address, manage account. You see your profile, your personal settings, your notifications, and then theme. Let's click on profile. When you click on profile, it's going to show you this. But it's going to show you your job title is empty. Now, this is where you can start customizing. Put your cursor at the top, the header image. It will show you that picture, icon. Click on it, and then you see upload an image. So you click on upload an image, and then you go look for any image on your local computer, and then you can put that image in. So I'm going to go and look for one, and hopefully I will be able to change it back. So it's coming in. Okay, it looks like it's a corrupt image, but that's how you change the other image. For your profile picture, the same way, you put your cursor on that profile picture, it's going to show you this camera icon. When you click on that camera icon, then few things that you can do will be displayed. For me, because I have a picture here, it's saying change profile picture. For you, it's probably going to say upload profile picture or something. So let me change my profile picture to a more recent one because my data is longer now. So I'm just going to go and look for a profile picture somewhere. And so I'm not going to waste a lot of time on this one because there are better things that we will need to do. All right, great. So I see a picture here. And then I upload it. Awesome. So I just changed my picture right now, the same way you can change your picture. And then you see about, this one is your job title. To me, it's showing Agile Coach here. Let me just make it like Transformation Advisor. So I put it there. It's changed. You can change yours as well. My department is the Agile COE. I can change it to advisory and transformation, something like that. Our organization is Stacy and Lois, so you can leave it. Now, you can also change your location. Once you change your location, it's going to automatically adjust your time zone. and then you save. So by now, we should have updated our personal profile. For me to check, I'm just going to come back to Teams. Has anybody updated theirs? Let's see. Anyone? Okay, let's see. So Lola Akins, nice. Awesome. Awesome. Now, when I say Lola is my brother, you can now see, except that it's the final version, the final one. So you can see he has his picture right now. You know, every other thing remains the same. He has his picture and all of those things. Cool stuff, cool stuff. So we've been able to update our, profile. You probably will be part of a team. You cannot work alone. You'll be part of a department. You'll be part of work. So let's create teams. Create teams. You can be a project manager. You can be a scrum master. You can be a business analyst. You can be a team lead. You can be anything. And you're tasked with the responsibility of creating your project, your team. How you do that is you come to Teams, because that's where you create stuff. You come to Teams. When you come to Teams, I need Andrew to go on mute. Andrew, do you want to go on mute? Okay, good. Put you on mute. You come to Teams. You click on Teams, and then the drop down, the second to the last, you see create a team. Create a team. Create a team. So I click on it. When you click on create a team, it's going to give you this dialog box. The first thing that's asking you is the name of your team. Your team must have a name. Let's say this team is called H.O.P.S Squad. Let's say that's the name of the team. Don't choose my team name. Choose your own team name, right? Two teams can't have the same name. It's going to be confusing and all of that. So choose another name. I'm choosing H.O.P.S Squad. The next thing is, who are the people that you want to invite to this team? Who are the people that will be part of this team? It sees me automatically as a member of the team because I am creating the team. It's possible that you are creating the team, but you are not part of the team. If that's the case, then you take yourself out of the team. What happened? Then you take yourself out of the team. Now, this is where you can now add people to the team. You can invite up to 50 people. Now, this is what I want us to be careful about. Only engage with people that you can see here. Don't engage people that are not here. Because when you do something, those people will get notification. And you don't want someone who was in our class maybe last year getting a notification from, say, Favor Taiwo. Say, Favor is adding you to their team. They're going to be like, who is Favor? What team? You know what I mean? On a Sunday afternoon. To add people, just type their name. So I'm going to say Lola. And it's going to show you Lola. So I add Lola here. I'm going to say Tolu Dada. Hopefully you are here. Great. I'm going to say Modupe Ola. D, so I'm thinking this is it. I'm going to say Ismail. So I'm thinking this is it. I'm going to say Gloria. So this is it. I'm going to say Olalade Mwambamala. So this is it. And then I will just add one more person, say Molikat. Awesome. Now I do, okay, Babalala. Great. So I can add up to 50 people. The next thing, before I create my team, the next thing you see here is membership control. Do you want to leave your team open such that anybody can get in and join the team without approval, or you want to have to approve every member of the team? The default is you cannot join our team if you are not part of us. So I will leave this unchecked. I will say anyone that wants to join the team has to be approved. And then I'll click on create a team. Now, once I click on create a team, all these people that I've added here will get a notification. So let's click create a team. Now it's creating the team. So it's created the team. Now, look at Lala's profile right now. You see Lala's teams, just two. Just two. But once I refresh, it's going to add that H.O.P.S squad. Once I refresh Lala's team, you're going to now see that H.O.P.S squad. Also, all of you will get an email notification saying that Bola has, now look at it. Now Lala is part of H.O.P.S squad. Now for you, when you now go on your profile, you will now see the teams that you belong to. I mean, I don't need to search for the team anymore because we see it here, but let's just search for the team that I just created. I click on teams, I go to search people and teams, and then I look for H.O.P.S squad. So I look for H.O.P.S squad. And then I see, so it looks like so many people. So I think this is the team that I created. So you see, this team is an invite only. A member must approve your request to join. It's an invite only. There's no description. These are the members of the team. Members of the team. This is our team. Now let's say we want to just be more fancy. We have like a team picture. We can just put that in the other image. Just click on the other image, upload an image, and I'll go and look for a team picture. And then I'll just put that in. Let's see, I'm just gonna look for whatever picture I find. And yeah, just anyhow picture. So it looks like the picture is not the right one, but I'm gonna leave it. But then someone says, so when we started the team, it was just 8 of us. But now, Dapo Additional has joined the team. How do we add Dapo? Very easy. Just go to the team. You see add people. Add people. Just click on add people. And then I look for Dapo Additional. No, this is not Dapo Additional. Okay, you know what? I'm going to just go to Samson Fashola. Let's say Fashola Samson is the one that joined. I just click on it. Now, automatically, we are now 9, and you now see Samson. Rosemary, do you want to go on mute? You now see. So these are the people that we now have in our team. Let's assume that Ismail got a job with another organization and he's having to leave the team and the organization. How do we get him out? Well, easy. We just again come to the team. We click on Ismail and then, sorry, go back. We click on Ismail. You see the 3 dots right in front of Ismail. We click on that 3 dots and we see remove from team. Remove from team. You see 9 members. Now when I click remove from team, it says, actually I want to remove Ismail from H.O.P.S squared. They can be invited again, that's fine. So I just say remove. Now we have 8. If you're not a member of this team, you can still see the team. But if you want to join, you'll have to request. you'll have to request. And when you see the request, when you request, we will see it here. And then we can then accept you or reject you. We won't reject you, but that's what it is. So we've done our profile. We've created our team. Now let's start working. Let's start creating projects. But before we move in, any question? Any question?
Hi, Ishmael here. So are you able to simulate, because I tried to search for the team, I couldn't find it. So are you able to simulate that for us to see if one can find the team and then you then accept the request to join the team?
Okay, yeah, sure. So someone tell me a team that you have created that is invite only, a team that I'm not part of.
Okay. I just removed you from Jonacos squad. Jonacos squad.
Good team. I wouldn't want to be part of that. Just kidding.
Jonakos. Jonacos squad.
This one?
Yep.
All right.
That's
okay.
mine.
Yeah. So join. But looks like you didn't ask it to. Looks like you didn't.
I removed you earlier. I removed you.
So, because I'm already part of it, right?
Yeah, no. When you ask that somebody should, give you a demo, I removed you quickly. But I can add you again.
Okay, so I just joined again.
Okay, so you can also add from your own end without being invited.
So because I am kind of like, the big kahuna of this game, because I'm like, me and Adetun, we are like, super admin. Let me show you.
I get. So we are using enterprise version, right?
Exactly. This is enterprise, yeah.
All right.
Yes, exactly. Because I'm super admin, Adetun is super admin, we can do and undo.
Oh, I get.
If you vex us, we can send you out of the application. Just kidding. Anyways, yeah. So that's it. But for others, any other person, when they check this Jonacos squad, they will see like request to join. And when they click on request to join, you will see it here. Someone from this team, either you, myself, or Adeton, will have to accept them for them to join.
So I think somebody requested just now, coach.
Okay.
But I got it as an email, but I'm supposed to be seeing it on Jira, right? So why am I not seeing it on Jira?
So look at it here.
People now. Okay, membership request.
Just refresh.
Okay, and the refresh button is where?
It's like the normal URL refresh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I see them now. Accept. Now I can accept the two invites.
Absolutely. So you see Akanji, Mofi follower, and Mulikat Kabalala.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Cool stuff. Now let's go and work. Let's go and do some work. We want to work on projects. We have to create that project. To create the project, we go to projects. We wanted to create team, we went to team. We wanted to update our profile, we went to our profile. Now let's go to projects. You click on projects, and then it shows recent for you, probably nothing. View our projects, and then you see create projects. Create project. So let's click on that. Create projects. Any question?
You're doing well, coach.
Appreciate it. So there are so many templates that we can use. So many templates. I see software development, service management, like I said to you, it's literally what we use to plan and execute and track our work, whatever the work is. whether it's a project, whether it's a product that we're building, whether it's software, whether it's bug tracking, whether it's customer service. You can see service management kind of work, service management, IT service management, resolve incidents, handle service requests. So it's not only for just projects. It's for organizations and enterprise. If it's work management, if it's product management, if it's marketing, if it's human resources, finance, and all of those. Let's go to software development. In software development, we have Kanban as, in quotes, a framework. We have Scrum as, in quote, a framework. We have some top-level planning, some cross-team planning, when you have like multiple teams and all of those things like, our safe, scaled, agile, XYZ. We have product discovery, product roadmap, bug tracking. If what the work that we want to be doing is tracking bugs that are reported on, our development work. Let's start with Scrum, because more than 70% of organizations that are using Agile, in their work use Scrum, especially when they're building, software. So click on software development, and then it opens the several templates that you can use, and then click on Scrum. But before that, Samson, I'm just going to skip your last name. You have your hand up.
Oh yeah, so thanks. I'm looking at the top level planning and cross team planning, which has a premium against that. So is that a subscription based feature?
Yes. So we don't have this as part of what we have.
All right. Thank you so much.
Sure thing. So Scrum, let's click on Scrum. I mean, Scrum is fun, right? When you click on Scrum, it's going to say, hey, before we get into this stuff, let me give you an idea of what you are getting into. You want to use Scrum. With Scrum, you are able to plan your work from the backlog, and you're able to organize how you're going to be doing the work. Sorry, you're able to organize how you're going to be doing the work in sprints. He's just telling us this. Also, in this Scrum, you can track the progress and report the work using like velocity and some other metrics. He's also telling us in this Scrum thingy that you're going into, you will have different types of issues like epic, stories, bug, tasks, subtasks. He's also telling us your default workflow is to do, in progress, done. I think we're cool with this. So we just click on use templates. Use templates. So click on use templates. So you have selected Scrum. And then say, what kind of project is it? Is it just a team-managed project or a company-managed project? The difference between the two is the level of sophistication and configuration that you have. A team-managed project set up by your team, very simple configuration, anyone can maintain it, easy setup, access level permission, reporting, just basic essential reporting. For company-managed projects, if you're an admin, you can set it up. The configuration is standard, and you can share it across multiple projects. The permission that you can set is detailed. In terms of reporting, you have comprehensive, robust reporting. Now, if you have small thing and big thing, and you're learning, I always say, learn the big thing. Better to have it and not use it than to need it and not have it. So we're going to select a company-managed project. Ishmael.
But mine
So
is
I
not.
just want to ask, is it safe to say that a company-managed project is a collection of team-managed projects? So can we say that?
No,
Not necessarily, right?
Yeah, not necessarily. It's just that there are some things that you can do in company manage that you may not be able to do in team manage. Just me, you, Ishmael, Tolu, Lucia, and Ajibola, just us, just simple. We don't need the extensive configuration. We just plan our work, we just do it. But that's
Okay,
not
so
the case.
Coach?
okay, can I just ask, in furtherance to that, can we connect a team managed project so it goes underneath a company managed project? So the reason I ask is, from a company managed perspective, can you have visibility on what teams are doing?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
I think the nomenclature, the naming is a bit confusing. It's just telling you, when you have a team managed project, the things that you have available for you is just for team level. When you have a company managed, you have access to almost everything. Think about access card that gives you access to where you work. And then company card that gives you access to different parts of the organization. Something like that.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Sure thing. So
Hello, Coach.
Yes, please.
Yeah, funny enough, mine is not displaying the company managed. Is only showing me. I mean, the company managed is actually is not highlighted. Where you can, that's down where you can select a company is actually in gray, while the team manage is in blue. So I don't know why it's like that.
Because you're not an admin.
Okay, so let's park that. Let's hold on that. We go on a 5 minutes break after we create this. Then I can ask you to share your screen if you're able to and see what the issue is.
Okay.
I think, Tolu, just to address a comment, whether you are an admin, so the profile that we've created for you is a trusted profile that allows you to do things that an admin can do, but to a certain level, right? So hopefully, you are able to do that. But let's get into this. So let's let's click on select a company managed project. Now it's time to give our project a name. I'm going to call this H.O.P.S. H.O.P.S. web app. Don't use my project name, use another name, right? Use another name, just give your project any name. So I call it H.O.P.S. web app. Now, after I put H.O.P.S. web app, you see the key here. A key is like a unique identifier. A unique identifier, something that separates your project from any and every other project. Something that helps you to distinguish things in your project from every other. Is like your last name. It's like your ID. So it's showing HWA. This is like happy wedding anniversary. But I'm going to change it to H.O.P.S. web. H.O.P.S. web. And then I click on next. Now watch out for the H.O.P.S. web. Everything that I create under this project is going to have this key. So I click next. And then it's saying, do you have a conference page that you want to connect to? I will skip this. I'll just click on continue. Now I have my project, albeit blank. Now I have my project, albeit blank. So you see, it's H.O.P.S. web app. That's the project, the software project. I think someone needs to go on mute. You see my timeline, you see my backlog. My backlog is empty because I don't have anything in there. You see the active sprint, you see report, you see all those things. So let's pause for a minute. Has anybody not been able to create projects as we speak?
Yeah, I've not been able to create it based on the earlier problem I pointed out.
All right, cool. So let's pause. All right, so we have been able to create our project, but it's a blank project. When you get to your project, or if you can't find it again, just go to project and then click view all project, and then you can search for it. Like this one is H.O.P.S web app. Once I click on view all projects, from there, I can just search for H.O.P.S web app, and then it will bring it to me. So this is it. You can see I created this. The one that we did when we did the revamp was created by Adesope, and she made the key H.O.P.S.R. I decided to change this to H.O.P.S web. So I click on this, and then it brings me to my project. So probably this is where you are.
Yeah.
Two views that you will see here, two views. The left-hand pane and then the right hand. On the right hand, you will see like your active sprint, but there's really nothing here because we don't have any sprint active. On the left pane, you'll see the project name, H.O.P.S web app, the kind of project that it is, software project. You'll see the planning board. This is your project. Under that, you see timeline. After timeline, you see backlog. After backlog, you see active sprint. You see report, you see list, goals, issues, XYZ. And then you go into development and you see code releases. But we're going to do more of planning. Before we go into the planning, let's do further settings on our project. The last item on the left-hand pane is project settings. Project settings. So click on project settings. Click on project settings. Again, who will do this? Anybody, project manager, scrum master, product owner, BA, whoever, team lead. So these are the settings on my project. The first one is details. The view shows you the project name. Let's assume that we decided to change the name of the project from H.O.P.S web app to something else. This is where we can do that. So I'm going to change it to H.O.P.S app. I'll take this out. That's taken out. So my project is now going to be H.O.P.S app. The key I want to change as well to app. I'll leave that. The type of project is this. Category, I'll leave it blank. And then the avatar, let's say we have a logo for this project that we're building. I can change that avatar to the logo. I just click on select image, and I go and upload the image from my local computer. So I click on upload a new avatar. I can search for H.O.P.S logo. Great. So I made that my new logo. Okay. So it's not going to be able to. Okay, I'll just do this small one. So I changed that. The description of my project, like if you have a description, for example, the H.O.P.S app is a mobile app that allows people to connect with mentors and mentees, collaborate, and ultimately improve their career experience, something like that. This is a typical time text format. I can say the key benefits will be, and then I make it like 1, connect seamlessly. 2, engage collaboratively. 3, grow continuously, blah, blah, blah. The project lead, like I said, is the person that created the project. So it's showing me. If I want to change it, I can change it to Adeto. The next is default assignee. So a default assignee is the person that gets assigned to anything and everything that is created. But because we are a team, the fact that LP is like the team lead doesn't mean that LP is going to be assigned any and everything that we create. So we're going to leave it as unassigned, and then we save details. Oh, look at what he's saying here. So you see, a project called Happy Days already has this key, H.A.P. So I'm going to just say H.O.P. And then every other thing is fine. Okay, I'm just going to put S. Okay, good. Now, I've done this. When I click back to projects, then it takes me back to my project. So you see, my project is now H.O.P.S. apps. It's now H.O.P.S. apps. Let's start creating the work that we're going to be doing. If you know a little bit of Agile Scrum, there's something called the backlog. It's an English word, actually. Anything and everything that we want to do, we'll put in a backlog. Every work that we're going to be doing will be in the backlog. So we click on backlog, because that's where we will put the work that we want to be doing. But before we start creating the work, again, if you know a little bit of Agile, there is work hierarchy. It's kind of like the way that we arrange the work based on relationship, based on category, and based on size. Let me look for my annotation. Again, not to teach Scrum or Agile, but let me just show you what it typically looks like. I can't find my annotation. Oh man. Okay, there's something called Epic. Epic is like a big set of functionality that we're going to be delivering. And then we break the Epic into small piece of work, small piece of value called user stories. So the first thing that we're going to do is create the epics. We go to our backlog, and then at the top of the backlog, you see versions, and then you see epic. So in my mobile app, let's say, for example, we have user registration as one of the big things that people will do. We have search as one of the big things that people will do. We have notification as one of the big things that people will do. Those things will represent epics. So I click on epics, and then I activate this epic. Has someone gone ahead to create my epic? Okay, so it looks like someone had this user management core functionality, or maybe it's just a what's it called? It's just a template. But to create epic, you see create epic right here. Create epic. So I click on it, and then he opens this to me to say, what you want to do is create epic. I said, yes. Do you want to create that epic inside H.O.P.S app project? I said, yes. The issue type is epic, right? I say, yes. And then he says, what's the name of the epic? So I just put a name here to say mentee or mentorship matching. So that's all that I need to do right here. I can either click create. Once I click create, it will create it, and then it'll close this box. Or because I want to create another one, there's a button here called create another issue. I'm going to do both. I'll check this box and I'll click on create. When I check this box and I click on create, it's going to create this mentorship matching, and it's going to retain this view for me to create yet another one. Let's see. So I click on this and I say create. Now you see it shows here on screen, one issue created, and then it's still maintaining this for me. And then I can say notification or app notification. App notification. But this time I'm going to uncheck this guy. And then once I uncheck and I click create, it's going to create and it's going to close this, this box. So you see the two that I've just created now, mentorship matching and app notification. Those are the big piece of work that we want to do. There's also user management and there's core functionality. Let's assume that I created an epic, but I want to edit that epic. I mean, core functionality doesn't really make sense to me, quite honestly. How do I edit the epic? I'm going to close this. I'll go to epic. I will activate the epics. The epic that I want to edit is core functionality. I click on the expand button by the left-hand side of that epic. Click on it. And then I click on view details. View details. John, you need to go on mute. So I click on view details. View details will open a reading pane of that epic to me towards the right. I want to change this from core functionality to, let's say, reporting. Reporting. So I've changed it. So now I have user management, reporting, mentorship matching, and app notification. Those are the big piece of work that we want to do. The user stories will now relate to all these epics. My annotation, let me find it so that I can show you in a minute. Okay, I can find it. Anyways, let's still go. So now I want to start creating user stories. Now I want to start creating the work that we're going to be doing. And remember, we said everything will be in the backlog. There are two ways that I can do this, two ways. I can start by creating user stories directly from the epic. Or I can just create the user stories without really matching them to the epic. Let's start first by creating directly from the epic. I'll choose user management. Now, what I want to do is create user stories for user management. Like people want to, be able to download it. They want to be able to create an account. They want to be able to update their profile. They want to be able to change their password. All of those things are part of user management. The same thing that you did in Jira, where you viewed your profile, you uploaded your, your header image, you change your titles, all of those things, that user management, profile management, maybe. So when I click on this, I come to the backlog. Under the backlog, you see I have 0 issues. All I need to do is click on create issue. So I click on create issue. And then it opens to me a type field, a field that I can type on. You see right there. It says what needs to be done. Again, not really teaching user stories, but the way user stories are written is as a new user, I want to download the app from Apple Store so that I can register. So what that means is when users go to Apple Store, they want to see the app so that they can download it. So we must make sure that we put the app in Apple Store. So that's the user story. Then I click on enter and it's already created. Now you see the backlog now has one issue. And then it says, yes, what's the next thing? As a new user, I want to create an account on the app so I can have access. I enter, I have it as well. What other things will a user want to do as part of user management? Well, as a registered user, now you are not a new user anymore. You are now a registered user. I want to reset my password so I can keep my account updated. As a registered, yes.
This why does yours, because I'm trying to follow along, why does yours have user manual before the to-do?
Yes, so that's because I was creating them directly into user management.
Oh, okay.
Now, you remember I said there are two ways. You can
Two
create
ways,
them
yeah.
from the user management, from the Epic, or you can just create them outside of the Epics, but later merge them to the
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Thank you.
What I'm going to do is, after I create this one, I'm now going to do the second part. So let's say as a registered user, I want to sign out
I didn't miss it. Thank God.
of the app. Chinasa, do you want to go on mute? I want to sign out of the app so I can keep my data away. You know, the way that they said Facebook, even when you are signed out, they still have access to your, and it was a big issue. Yeah, we don't want that to happen here. So once you sign out, we don't have access. Once you log out, we don't have access to your data. For me, I want to create another one, but I don't want to create it directly into the app. So what I do is I unclick that epic. I unclick that epic, unclick it, and then see what's going to happen. Okay, hold on. Let me show you what just happened. Someone, not me, someone just created this user story. Someone, not me, created this user story. How did I know? How did I know? Well, let me go and show you who may have created it. See, Tolulokwe Dada created it. Tolulokwe, did you?
Yes, I did.
Absolutely. That's to show you when we get into editing user stories, the reporter is the person that created that user story. But we're going to get in there. Every other one, you see me. You see me. But let's get in. Good stuff for doing that. So Tolulokwe has created to, log in with your username. I've created to reset. I've created to sign out. I've created to open an account. As a registered user, I want to change my notification frequency. So I only get, so I, control my notification. Those, someone adds something, they notify you, another person adds this, they notify you, XYZ. So I want to control that. I also want to change as a registered user. I want to change my profile pictures so I have my accounts updated. Now, when I created this last three, I unchecked or unclicked the epic. And that's why you don't see them for me, to your question. That's why you don't see them.
Yeah, we get you now. Thank you.
Yeah, sure thing. Now let's move to mentorship matching. Again, I know it's mentorship matching. If I want to create them directly into mentorship matching, I'll click on mentorship matching first, and then I'll start creating. So I say, as a registered mentee, I want to search for mentors by specialization so I can view them. You see, it's right there. Again, as a registered mentee, I want to view profiles of mentors so I can connect with them. As a registered mentee or mentor, I want to receive notification when someone connects with me so I can engage them, something like that. So this was me creating directly into that. Now I want to create, but not directly into that. I just uncheck this. And then I can click on this as a registered mentor. I want to approve, I want to accept connection request from mentees. So we can start mentorship. So we've created some user stories. Now, you've noticed something. The user stories started with H.O.P.S dash a number. What is that H.O.P.S? Anyone remember what that is? Anyone?
It's the
That is the
application
key.
Is the key, exactly. It's the key, exactly. Any other person, the project key, absolutely. This is the last name, like my last name is, well, it's funny. Yeah, my last name is Adesope. My daughter's last name is Bola Adesope, and then she has a first name, and then my second is Bola Adesope, and then, so everybody that has Bola Adesope is related directly to me. Every issue that has apps is related directly to the H.O.P.S app project. That's how you know which issue belongs to which project. Let me check something before we go. I just want to show you something. Murphy, what's your project name? What's a project?
So it's called the Murphy Tech app.
Murphy Tech. Awesome. So I know you were going to ask a question, but I wanted to just check something. So let's go to your blog. Okay. You don't have stories yet, but ask your question. Anyone has stories yet in their backlog?
Yeah, so just the question I needed to ask was regarding the stories. So I noticed that you created some stories without attaching them to the epic. Isn't that a major issue when we have a lot of stories? How do we kind of make sure that they are, aligned with the right epic so that it's not confusing?
That's the next thing that we're going to look at.
Okay.
Yeah, but before that, I want to see someone's project. Anyone's project has like stories in their backlog?
I do. So me.
What's a project called?
It's Wandy's web app.
So I just look for one. Okay, great. So you can see is WW1. Now let's look for your project. You can see WW1, WW1. If I go to issues and I look at, even from anywhere I see an issue, for example, I can tell which project that issue belongs to by this stuff. So these are all your own kind of like, issues. Other people will have something different.
Okay.
Absolutely. So that's what I want to show you. Prudence, I see your hand up.
Yeah, for me, I'm trying to connect the epic, this what's it called, to the epic. What I'm just having to do.
Yes, don't worry. Let's quickly get in a minute.
Okay.
So when I click back on project, you see now my recent now has Wandy Web, because I just viewed that project right now. Has Murphy Tech, because I just viewed his project right now. For you, if you viewed other people's project and you click on recent, you see. And of course, my H.O.P.S app. So to your question, these projects, this issue that Tolu Dada created, which epic is this issue, does this issue belong to, this story? Tolu, what do you think? I want to log into my username and with my username and password. It's probably user management, exactly. So there are two ways, maybe three, that we can map that, Murphy, to your question. When you put your cursor on that issue, on that user story, you see epic right in front of it, and you can add that epic. So you just go and look for user management, and then it's there. Right? This one, I want to change my notification frequency. This is probably notification, app notification. You can just go here and just look for app notification. That's one way. Another way is to open those epics and literally just drag and drop. So for example, I want to be able to manage my user account, and we're going to talk about this very good one. We're going to talk about this. This is still user management. So I can literally just drag it and go and drop it right in front of user management. See, I drag it and I drop it, and automatically it's there. The same way we drag a file and we drop into a folder in our Word document, in our computer. That's another way. I want to change my profile. I'll drag it and I'll go and drop it. That's the second way. I'm going to show you the third way in a minute. Any questions so far? You should be able to have created at least 5 user stories. If you have created 5 user stories, you can create 15, you can create 50.
I have a question, please, and I need help.
Okay.
I need help.
Yeah, please say.
I think I'm a little bit behind. I got distracted a bit, and what I'm doing is quite different from what I have on here.
Okay,
what I look at my. For instance, I don't have this user management. I don't have.
Okay.
Remains. Is he friend or foe? So the user management report, mentorship, I can't see that because I jumped in halfway and then tried to catch up with what I could.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been able to create some of the backlog, but I don't have those.
Okay.
By the side.
All right, no worries. So let me quickly address that, and then I'll talk to Samson. The reason why you cannot see them is because you did not create them. I created them.
Okay.
I created them. I'm going to put you on mute. I created this, right? If you want to see it on your own, then you will create it on your project. This is my project. You have to create your own project. You have to create your own epic, all right? Your epic will show on your own system. And again, the way to create the epic is you just go to epic right here, and then you see create epic. So you create this. The reason why you're not seeing it is because you didn't create it. I created it on your own computer, on your own project. Samson?
All right, thanks. So looking at how we're assigning the epic, the user stories to the epics, is it safe to move here in terms of if I assign a user story to an epic and I feel, oh, this is the wrong epic, I could still go to that same point to reassign that same user story?
Absolutely. As against using the word assign, I will say map. I'll say map.
Okay, map. Okay.
Yeah. So let's assume that someone says, oh, Bola, this is not, this one, I want to view profile of mentors, although it's still mentorship matching. This is not mentorship matching. This is actually reporting. Remember, I had mentorship matching right here. I'll just click on it, and then I will change it to, sorry. I'll just click on it, and I'll change it to whatever it should be. One way. Or I'll drag it, and I'll go and put it in the right place. So it typically automatically overrides the current one.
All right, thanks so much.
Sure thing. All right, then John Oseni.
All right, thanks, Coach. I'd like to ask if how I can delete any of the epics so that I can, if they are wrongly entered and I want to, because mine that I created are not in the same order. You like yours, you have from the beginning, I think user functional, I don't know, apps management, like that, you know. I want to also, so that if I can cancel delete the ones that I've wrongly done, so I can follow the right. How do I go about that?
Okay, absolutely. So let's get into the next thing. Everybody should have been able to create user stories, should have been able to create epics, and should have been able to map epics to the corresponding user story. We've created epics, we've created user stories, but there are other types of work that we can create in our backlog. For example, task. For example, bug. How do we do that? Again, we go to create issues. You see, when you click create issues, it gives you this text field and a blinking cursor. But before that blinking cursor, there's an icon right here. That's the icon that shows you the type of issue that you're creating. The default is story. But what I want to create is a bug. Maybe something is not working well, like there's a glitch. I will click on the drop down right here, and then it'll show me the other types of issues that I can create. So either task or bug. I'll choose bug. And then for the bug, I can say fix the user name field to allow for more, for up to 30 characters. And I click enter. So now I've created user stories. I've created bug. I can create task. I just check this and I say task. Locate and design the, no, let's say refactor the code, something like that. Refactor the code. So I've created issues, epics, user stories, bug, and tasks. Now let's edit the user stories. Let's edit the user stories. Under edit also, we'll talk about deleting. John. So you click on the user story. Once you click on the user story, it opens a detailed pane to you by the right. Click on it, and then it opens this field to you. This is the name of the user story. As a new user, I want to download the app from Apple Store so that I can register. Let's say we want to change this from, oh, no, not so that you can register, so that we can create accounts. Okay, we just click on it, and then we edit so that we can create an account. And then we click the check. So we've edited this. Or someone says, download is not the right word. Let's just say we want to access. Again, we click on it, and then we click on that download, we erase it, and then say access. And then someone says, let's not call it the app. Let's say, H.O.P.S app. Okay. Yeah. And then we say, good. Okay. So we've edited this. If you scroll down a little, underneath that user story, there are some icons. The first icon is an icon that allows you to add attachments. Let's assume that we created a wireframe. Remember, we did wireframe and mockups and all of those things in last week, Saturday, using Figma. And we want to attach that wireframe to this so that, the developers, the team will see what it should look like. We just click on add attachment. And under add attachment, you can add all sorts of files, PPT, image, Word, PowerPoint, all sorts. So I'm gonna just look for one and I will add. So I've added this attachment right here, BA and beyond, and it's already there. So you see, you've added an attachment to app 5. That's it. I can also add a PowerPoint. I can add, anything. Let's say, for example, this executive workshop document that, I created, it's a PDF. So it's creating the preview and right there, the options analysis. So I can add all sorts of documents. Next, after that is subtasks. Subtasks. I mean, the best way to eat something big is to break it down into smaller pieces. One good way to collaborate on a typical work is to decompose it. And how to decompose is by creating subtasks. So this right here is how we can create subtasks for this user story. We click on this, create subtask, and then we have, so it's a subtask, and then it says what kind of subtask. So let's say we say one is create the iOS version. That's one of the things that we want to be able to do. And then register on iOS version. And then that's another thing. And then maybe create summary on iOS version. And then maybe we say test download on iOS app, something like that. Apple Store. So we have all these 4 tasks, subtasks that we're going to be doing under this. So that's subtask. Next one is linking issues. Linking issues. We can link issues, we can link web pages to this. Let's assume that there is an online website that has something similar to this that we want people to see, we can just link it right here. So link add web page, and then we can just say the app web page is SixDots.io, and then we can give it a description. Sample site for the app on Apple Store. And there's a link. Now, when you say link, it just gives you this. And when people click on it, it opens that website that we've created the link for. And then the next is description. We can just type, things here, maybe like acceptance criteria, maybe further details, any sort of information that we want to put here. We can type that on that description. And then we save. So we're going to go down now, but before that, John, is that legacy hand? Samson, is that legacy hand or new one?
No, that's a new one.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was just thinking of the user stories. Do you have a point, maybe like you've moved the user story from the backlog into it has hit a sprint? Does it have any particular stage the user story has gone beyond you coming back to edit?
I'm not sure I got the question.
Okay, let's say you've moved, we're looking at the user stories tied to epics in the backlog now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm asking in terms of maybe you've moved it from this backlog to
a sprint.
It's gone maybe as far as civil development level.
Yeah.
It's actually in a sprint.
Yeah.
Does that impact your ability to come back here to edit this user story?
Once you move it from the backlog to the sprint, then it's in the sprint.
Okay.
But standard, if you want to edit a user story, if you're working within an agile environment, we have a product owner who's sort of like, in quote, owns the user story. You'll have to have a conversation with them to understand what exactly it is that you're trying to edit.
Okay. Okay.
The edit and the finalization and the refinement here is usually done before we start the sprint planning. But if there's any way that you want to do that, then you meet with the PO.
All right. All right. Thank you.
Oluwaseun.
All right. Thank you, Coach. My question is as regards to why you're creating a user story that you want to link with your epic.
Yeah.
Is this when you're creating your user story, is it arranged accordingly with the key? I don't if you understand what I mean.
Yes,
I mean, when you create one user story, and let's say, for example, the key is RAA1 for the first user story you create, and you create the next one, you expect the key to be RAA2, but you're saying RAA5. Is there a way you can edit it, or is there something wrong with creating your story there?
So your user stories, the name, the serial, the name is arranged according to when you're creating it. It's like serial number. The first thing that you create will have 1. The next thing after that will have 2. The next after that will have 3. The next after that will have 4. Just as we see here. Now, if you have 1 and then the next thing you're having is 5, it means that you have created 2, 3, 4. They may probably not be user stories. Maybe they are epics.
Oh, okay. Okay. Now I can align. Thank you.
Absolutely. Sure. So we're still editing this guy. This is called like refinement. Is this what we were doing? Okay, I think so. Not this one. I can't. Okay, you know what? Since I can't find it, did someone move my story? Okay, this is it. This is it. All right, so this is what I was editing. So I've put the details here. I've created this. Next, assignee. Assignee is the person that is assigned to the work. And that's why I was saying to you that let's use the word assign for people and not for epics. This is not assigned to anybody right now, but I want to assign it to, say, for example, Oluwaseun. All I need to do is just click on this unassigned and then go and look for Oluwaseun's name, type it. Oluwaseun. Oh. Right, and I assign it. Oluwaseun is going to get an email saying that he's been assigned to this user story. The reporter is the person that created that user story. And then you can scroll down, priority. Again, you can change the priority from medium right here to highest, to high, to low, to medium. I'm just going to leave it as highest. The parent is the epic. So this is the third way of mapping user stories to epic. So leave it this way. And then there are more fields like story point, for example. Let's assume that we've estimated this user story and we say that it is 3. We just come here, we put 3, and then yes, we have that. Now to your question, you don't like this user story anymore. You don't want this user story anymore. You can, instead of deleting it, you can just edit it. But if you feel like you still want to delete it, then there is a way. We want to control who is able to delete user stories, who is able to delete stuff here. So you must be added as an admin on the project for you to be able to delete it. Where you want to delete it, or when you want to delete it, you come to these 3 dots right here, these 3 dots. You click on that 3 dots. You see that you can't see delete right here. Delete is not there. Yeah, you can't see delete. It's not there. That's because I have not made myself admin on this project. Now, if I want to be able to delete, if I want anybody to be able to delete, I'll have to make them admin on the project. Now, how do I make them admin? I go to the project settings. Again, remember settings? I go to settings. And under settings, I'll go to people. I'll click on people. And then at the top right hand here, I'll click add people. Add people. And then I can make myself an admin, voila. And I'll choose role, I say administrator, and then I'll add. Now I will be able to delete. So I go back to my project. I go back to the backlog where I have the stories. Let me choose this guy. I'll click on this. And then at the top, I'll see those 3 dots. And then delete will show. And then I can delete this story or this bug. So we don't really put everybody as admin because we want to control who deletes and all of those things. But if you really, really need to delete, then you have to be made an admin on that project. So I think it was John. John, what's your project? What's your project, John? Or your project name?
My project name is Junakos Software.
Okay.
I've not created. Okay, just.
Do you have like stories in there?
No, at the point I got lost, so I said, okay, let me just be following. So I didn't really. Okay.
Okay.
Maybe
so
one. I created a bug.
Okay. All right. Yeah, bug is good. So you have this bug here.
Yeah.
Now I cannot delete. Do you know why? Because I'm not an admin on this project. You see, I click on these 3 dots I don't see delete. Now, if you go to this project, go to project settings, click on people.
Project settings, okay, people.
Click on
I'm
people.
going to make you.
Yeah, you see at the top, add people.
On project setting, I saw name. Is there any place that says add people?
You see details, you see summary.
Yeah, and all those, all that.
Click on people.
People. Save details. No, what is showing me is totally different.
Click on people.
Sorry, 1 minute. I've already clicked on project setting. What I can see is name, key, URL.
The left pane.
Oh, okay.
So click on
on people.
Yeah. And then at the top right hand, you see add people.
Top right, yeah. Okay.
Type my name.
Okay.
And then for the role, choose admin.
Okay. Okay.
Then choose admin.
Admin. Oh, I get on the administrators, then add one person?
Yes.
Okay.
So when
I've done that,
okay,
but it's asking me, try example, connect everyone working Jira.
Don't worry, just keep that.
Okay.
So what you see right now, I don't see delete, but once I refresh, I should delete, and I can delete this stuff. Oh. So now I come here and where about is it? Is it coming? So it's still loading. And now I see delete.
Oh, I get.
Delete it. Right? I can delete.
Oh.
All right.
So with this now.
Yeah.
On a project where you have the developers, the product owner, Scrum Master, business analyst, and you have been assigned some, is it a task now or is it a user story? Let me say user story. Maybe wrongly, the person who assigned you the user story wrongly is not one of the administrators, and he wants to quickly delete it before the assignee, gets the notification that he's been assigned, So how does he go about it, since he's not the reporter is not part of the administrators?
Yes. So for that, all you need to do is just unassign the person. Like, you don't have to delete the user story.
Okay.
For example, I assigned Oluwaseun by mistake. You don't need to delete this user story. It's still a valid user story, right? All I need to do is just unassign Oluwaseun. And how I do it, I click on this again, and I take Oluwaseun out, and I move it back to unassigned. That's it.
I guess.
Like, don't delete because you assigned the wrong person. Unassign, and that's it. Also, remember, we want to ensure that we're capturing what we need to do. And we don't want to say we want to do this, and then when it's time to start our sprint planning, we can't find it anymore because someone deleted it. You get what I mean? It's going to be a lot more confusing and unorganized. And that's really why organizations don't allow just anyone, even in the same team, to be able to delete user stories.
Okay, makes sense.
Absolutely. 15 more minutes, 13 more minutes. Let's do something quickly. Let's do sprint planning. Sprint planning. But before we do sprint planning, we must have estimated all the user stories. Estimation using story points, and that's what I have here. So I'm just going to go ahead and put the story points for all the other stories. Just going to go ahead and put different story points for all the other stories. One, actually, one. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna, yeah, so this 5, this 8, Samson. Samson, I see your hand up.
Yes, Coach B, I'm here. So for the story point, how do we know the digits to assign? Like 5, 4, 3. How do we know? Like
Absolutely.
if it will be 5, it will be 3, higher or lower. So how do we know that?
Yes. So this is usually done by the developers. There's a session that is usually facilitated by the Scrum Master or the team leader, the project manager, whoever, where all the developers, the people that are working the team, will review each user story, will ask questions, and then will do the estimation. It is the story point that they all unanimously agree on that will be imputed here. So for example, we have this and we're saying, hey guys, look at this is a story. I want to create an account on the app so that I can have access. The account must have like your username, your password, the password must be confirmed. You know, your email address is mandatory. Your telephone number is optional, X, Y, and Z. Now, what do you think is the story point for this? All of us, the developers alone, would then vote. The points that we agree on is what the story point will be. Does that answer your question? Is that good?
Can I ask a follow-up question to that?
Yes.
Please, before that, let me quickly chip this in. So,
okay.
So we as developers, how do we agree? Like, so is he in order of importance?
Oh.
Or so
no.
how do you like if it's that important, okay, to be 5? So if it is really like less task, okay, let's assign 1. So like what's the idea?
Okay. Good question. That gets me into like agile and story point estimation, but I'm just going to answer very quickly. They consider 3 things, maybe 4. They consider the effort required to actually implement that user story. The effort, right? They consider the uncertainties, the unknowns in that user story. They consider the complexity in the effort of that user story, and if there's any risk. Effort, uncertainties, complexity, and risk. And that's what they use to estimate. Something that is very easy, very small piece of work will be 1. Something that is small but slightly bigger than 1 will be 2. The next will be 3. So the story point is like the size of the user story. In traditional work, we estimate work using work period, like hours and days. And if you say, oh, this is going to take me 1 day, really, you've considered the effort. You've considered the complexity in the effort. You've considered the things that you know and the things that you don't know and the risk for you to be able to say, this is going to take me 1 day. But as against saying 1 day, 2 days, 3 days kind of stuff, we're now using story points. We're now using those points. Again, when the developers, I think I just answered your question, Mulikat, it represents the effort, literally the size of the work itself. If someone says it's a 2 and another person says it's a 3, it means that we're seeing that work slightly differently. Me, I think it's more work. You are saying it's not so much of, plenty work. But then how do we know? We start having conversation. You are going to share your own perspective. What made you think it's a 2? What made me think it's a 3? By sharing that and having that conversation, there's a chance that you may help me to see the things that I was not looking at. And that's really how we arrived at this point. Samson, good?
Yes, very clear now. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. And then I think someone was going to double click.
Yeah, I was going to actually, you just clarified what I was going to ask. So based off of that, how do we then prioritize? Do we use the first numbers in front? Like, can we drag and drop the task or the stories, or how do we prioritize?
Yeah, good question. Remember when they say the first house is not necessarily the best in the street? Yeah, the fact that you created this first doesn't mean it's the first thing that we have to do. Doesn't mean that it's the most important one. Doesn't mean that it's one with the highest priority. The product owner or the project manager or the team lead or whoever as the manager will determine the priority, and they understand the value that the user story delivers, the immediate value that the user story delivers to the end users, to the customers and the business. And that's what they use to say, let's do this first. Stephen R. Covey has this book, First Thing First. There's so many things that we want to do, but let's make sure that we do the first thing that we need to do first. Now, how do we make sure that we see that? Again, because when we start sprint planning, we're going to be starting and picking user story from the top of the backlog. So whichever one is the highest priority, we must make sure that it's the one that is at the top of the backlog. Now, let's say, for example, the first thing that you want to do is you want to be able to download the app. So we go and look for download the app. I mean, if you can't download the app, how can you create an account? If you can't download the app, how can you match? So we look for download the app. I want to access it right here. You see it's 5. And then we move it to the top of the backlog. Just drag and drop at the top. Right here. The next one is probably for them to be able to maybe create an account. We move that to where it should be. We move that to where it should be. The PO actually does the prioritization. The team lead does the prioritization. The PM does the prioritization. So we drag it and drop it in the position where it should be. It has nothing to do with the serial number. It has nothing to do with the story point. The story point is just the volume of work or the size of the work. The size of the work may not necessarily represent the priorities. Just being able to download it, putting it in the App Store is 3. Being able to reset a password is 1. That doesn't mean we should do 1 first. Right? To you. Prudence.
Crystal clear. Got it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Sure thing. Prudence, I'm going to take a question now, and then we move on.
Okay, there's something I noticed. I noticed that we're not able to assign story points to task and bugs.
Exactly. Think about it. Story point. Story point. This is bug. This is task. Story point. The point, the size of the user story. So if it's not a user story, you don't assign point to it.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Sure thing. Sure thing. All right. So let's assume that the backlog has been prioritized. We've discussed these user stories. We've understood the acceptance criteria. It's now time to have our sprint planning. At the top of the backlog right here, you see create sprint. Just click on create sprint. We're going to do this in 2 minutes and then we'll wrap up. You see, this is my sprint 1. Now, the PO has confirmed to us that the first 5 user stories at the top are the ones that we should do, potentially, if we have the time or the capacity. How do we move them from the backlog to the sprint planning? There are 2 ways. The first way is to drag and drop. We drag from here and we drop here. I just dragged from the backlog and I dropped from the sprint backlog. That's one way. Again, remember, we're picking from the top of the backlog. The second way is to right-click the user story, and then at the top, you see, now I can't see, there should be move to, you know what, let me move it a little. So right-click, you see move to. You move to sprint 1. Now it's in sprint 1. Next, right-click, you see move to sprint 1, or drag and drop. As you're dragging and dropping, it's counting the number of issues, and at the same time, it's counting the estimates. Let's assume that we want to do five user stories. We put the 5 here. So those are the 5 user stories, and the estimate is 12. The Scrum Master, the PM, whoever is facilitating, the team lead will confirm that everybody is good with this. So these are the 5 user stories that we're going to be working on in our sprint. And then we click on Start Sprint right here, Start Sprint. You click on Start Sprint, and it gives you like sprint details. This is H.O.P.S Web Sprint 1, yes. What's the duration of your sprint? Let's assume that your duration of your sprint is 1 week. Just choose 1 week right here. Once you choose 1 week, you'll be able to change the start date, but the end date will be automatically calculated because you're saying 1 week. If you want it to be custom means you can influence the start date and the end date. So I click this to say start and then end on Wednesday. And then I put the sprint goal here, which is what captures the work that we want to deliver. And I say, high priority, something like that. And then click start sprint. So our sprint has started. Now, when you click on active sprint, you'll be able to see something. So much more, but it's 2.5 hours right now, and I'm going to stop at the time.
I don't know. So did you want to end it here?
I mean, there's so much more that we can do.
Yeah.
I'm still good to go, honestly. If anyone is still fine, I can keep going.
I see people clapping, so they appreciate what you've done. But I see Salio has a question. I feel like if we keep going, we probably like never end, but there's a lot that can be done. I don't know if you think like an additional 10 minutes might help.
Yeah.
Or, sorry to interrupt. What if we do like a version 2 or schedule another one for another weekend?
That's a good question, Ishmael. And we can probably, I know we don't have availability the weekend after the next one, but maybe we can consider a version 2 or we'll think, yeah?
No, I was gonna say, oh, maybe, marketing stuff. Lola
Excuse me, Adeto. I raised up my hand. I'm sorry. I was thinking, or I was going to suggest that since next weekend is the
project
management, why don't we just make the Jira the part 2? Then the last weekend for June 16, we can do project management and probably move Power BI to next time.
So
we're not going out of scope here.
Could you say that again, please?
I'm just saying, not going out of scope here.
Yeah, so and that's a good point, but your audio is breaking. So you know what we can do, because there's a lot that goes into Jira, right? Jira is a lot. So I can say that SixDots offers, like with the Agile Immersion program, they go in depth and you actually, get to like act on in these various roles. So you can like sign up for a more intensive course or training with SixDots, the folks powering the session, which is founded by Bola and some other stakeholders. I think we lost Bola. Oh, is there still here? Oh, okay. For some reason, your video disappeared from view, but I see Salio still has his hand up, and Gloria as well.
Yes, thanks. And thank you, Bola. I was going to ask a question. If you go to your board, the board, you see that you have the default status there. So I was wondering if we can customize it. Maybe you want to introduce when your user story is in testing, when it's in development. I was thinking if time permit, whether you can just touch that, if that's fixable in Jira.
Yeah, I mean, between you and I, this is like 15% of whatever it is that we can potentially do. We just need to land on something, and then I will know how to proceed. I'm just gonna wait on Adeton to advise on that.
Okay. So I see a few hands up, and I just don't want the session to extend into 4 p.m. because I know even coach is like jet lagged. He literally just came back from Europe. So maybe we take Gloria and then Vanessa, and we can land on something. Gloria.
Okay, thank you. So I wanted to ask the question regarding the Jira board. How do we, so with giving the user stories points, right? How do we estimate the velocity of the team? And another question I had is, if a sprint is active, is it possible to still change the timelines of that sprint?
So do you want me to answer Adeton, or you're collecting questions?
My first instinct is to say, oh, sign up on SixDots. But if there's anyone that you can, I think we might be able to answer the board customization on it.
Yeah.
I had a third question, if that's okay too.
In this session. Okay, please go ahead.
Okay, so for instance, we're having a project, right? And I want perhaps my boss to be able to have a high-level overview of what we're doing on a dashboard. Is it the report aspect of it that does that sort of work for me?
All right. So let me answer those 3 questions. Hopefully I get them. So the first one is, well, one of them is changing the timeline or changing the duration of an active sprint. From Scrum and Agile, Scrum basically, once a sprint starts, you don't change the duration and don't change the goal. Because there's one principle in Agile that says Agile promotes sustainable development. Everybody should be able to maintain a constant pace. If you change the duration, it's going to automatically affect every other thing that you've planned. For example, at the end of every sprint, we have what's called the sprint review, and then we have sprint retrospective. And after that, we have the sprint planning for another. And we've said the sprint is going to be 2 weeks. So you have sent a calendar invite, a recurring calendar invite to all the stakeholders for sprint review, where they come in and you demonstrate what you've built, recurring. In that event, you have executives, you have business owners, you have leadership, because they are interested in what you're doing and you want to see the progress. Now you change the duration of a sprint. What happens is automatically, when it's time for that sprint review, you won't have it, but those guys already have that in their calendar. Now you're going to have to look for another time at the end of that sprint that you've extended to have your sprint review, and you may not be able to get people on their calendar anymore. So rule, hard, don't change the duration of the sprint. And that's why it's called a cadence reading. That's why it's called cadence reading. Every 2 weeks, every 1 week, every 5 days, the daily scrum, every day, the sprint planning at the beginning of every sprint, and all of those things. For your board, and that's part of dashboard, your leadership is not probably interested in the nitty-gritty of what you're doing. They shouldn't. High level. The leadership is looking at Gloria's project, Vanessa's project, Shion's project, and Fumilayo's project. We can create a dashboard that aggregates key information from all of these projects. And that's the view that your leadership sees. If they want to see how many days you have left in your sprint, they can see it from all the people's project. If you want to see where you are in terms of progress, if you want to see the classes of work that you're working on, they can see that. So yes, you can customize that on your dashboard. The third question, I honestly can't remember anymore. I don't know if I answered it from that.
Yeah, I think that's about the story points, using it to estimate team velocity, right? Also, first of what you just said, if I can just chip in. So if I wanted the dashboard for my reporting purpose, right? Is it downloadable as well if after extracting the dashboard from my current backlog?
Oh yes, yes. Your stakeholders can download in a PDF, but remember, the information there is not static. Yesterday, it said you had finished 12 of 15 story points. Now, when the person downloads that report, export it to PDF, they have as at that time, but today you finish like 24. Instead of downloading and just give them access to just view it real time. But if they're not like real-time people, it means that every day you're going to be downloading and you're going to be sending to them. The only time we're downloading and sharing is if you're doing end of sprint reports. That's the only time that makes sense. But if you're tracking progress on a day-to-day within the sprint, then it's better for them to just access it. Now, velocity is part of reporting. I think I'm still sharing. Am I still sharing? Yeah. So velocity is part of reporting, and it's from the velocity chart that we determine what we should build in and all of those things. So you can see here like velocity chart. So this is where we determine, based on how much we've completed in the last series of sprints, to determine what the velocity of the team is. You know what? Let me plug this in. So Oluwaseun, Lola, who else? LP, a few folks here. So we have a program called Agile Immersion Program. It's 8 weeks, 8 full weeks. It's hands-on. We look at Jira, we look at Confluence, we look at Miro, we look at Trello. We work on a real-life project. We build real-life stuff. A lot of the questions, a lot of the how, a lot of the what, a lot of the why, we actually cover in that Agile Immersion program. 8 weeks, every day, 2 hours. It's crazy, every day. If you want to deep dive into this, I think probably you should sign up for that. I think you should sign up for that. Yes,
and I've put the information in chat as well for the Agile Immersion program.
Thank you. And then there's a couple of other, programs like PMP, like CBAP. If you go to SixDots.io/academy, I think, or just go to SixDots.io, and if you look at the academy, you see a list of the programs that we have, and then you see like, the ones that are coming up. But I think Agile Immersion program is something that you pretty much enjoy, most especially if you're interested in that. Thanks a lot, Aditya, for that plug.
I'm sorry, I'm just looking at the cost. So do we get discounts? Because my goodness, as alumni of H.O.P.S.
Which alumni? Which alumni? Where's the certificate of graduation? I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Adetone, do you have some discount for them?
I do, and I've put in the discount code in chat. It's in the H.O.P.S. Use H.O.P.S. As a discount code. Limited time offer.
Okay, thank you. I've seen it.
You're welcome.
And shout out to my homeboy Moses Madamori. He's my colleague. We work together at SixDots. Kadison, back to you.
All right.
Sorry, I have one question. I raised my hand, and I guess I didn't see it.
Okay.
Yeah, the question is to Aditun and our H.O.P.S coach. Please, these are a trial version of Jira. How long are we going to have access to it? This one that you granted us today.
Good question. I'll defer to coach on this.
Okay. Actually, what you have is not trial version. What you have is like full access version. But I think that, again, all of these are paid for. I think I can leave the access for another, what date is it today?
Today's 9.
Today's 9. I can leave it for another 3 days. So June 12th.
June 12th.
The day of the Lord. Actually, not the day of the Lord. June 12th.
Can we just respect that day for what it connotes and just move it to June 13th, please?
No, actually, you know why? I'm traveling on June 13th, so I won't be able to do all of it. And if it goes June 13th, I get to pay for yet another period.
Okay, I get. No problem. Great work. We hope to join you at the Jira. But you don't have any specialized class? Okay, let me ask you a question. For someone like me, yes, and I know it might actually be the heartbeat of a couple of others.